So, you're thinking about getting a Dalmatian, eh? Well, I'm here to tell you all about it. Welcome back to the channel, folks. Millhouse HD here, just out for a little morning walk with my boy Chief. Chief, look, hey, look here. He's on a mission, as always, determined to scope out all the scents. He's a stubborn one, that is for sure. And that's probably the first thing I'd like to share with all of you as you embark on the journey that is Dalmatian ownership. Don't get me wrong, they are loyal, they are beautiful, they will be your best friend, but boy, are they stubborn creatures. Come on, bud, let's go. They can be trained. However, if they are one thing, it is stubborn and it is determined. Once they have their sights set on something, they will do anything they can to get their way. They're very food motivated. Once you figure out what it is they're after, whether it's cheese, chicken, fruit, yes, I said fruit. Chief here loves cantaloupe, loves watermelon, all sorts of things. It makes for a great time. It's very entertaining, but they can certainly be stubborn. It makes them easy to train in some regards, but also difficult at the same time. No matter how hard I try, he always seems to pull on the leash. I'm sure people down in the comments below will be like, well, you should try this, or you should try that, because, that works for my dog. Trust me, we've taken treats out for walks with us in the past, and it works for a little bit. But as soon as he gets distracted with one thing, it's kind of like game over. It works for a little bit, and then we're kind of back to square one again. He has a little bit of ADHD, if you will, but nevertheless, he's a good dog. He does tend to get distracted. He is very stubborn. He has very strong willpower, and that's all I will say about that. So that's number one. Number one, very stubborn, very determined. Number two, if you're considering getting a Dalmatian, they tend to come with a host of health problems. That's right. And I think it goes without saying. You start entertaining these kind of specialty breeds, the type of dogs that you don't see all that often. And it's when you start to experience a variety of health issues. Most commonly with Dalmatians, you'll experience things such as bladder stones. Primarily, there are two types of Dalmatians, LUA and HUA, apologies. So low uric acid and high uric acid. Low uric acid means they are not prone to urinary stones or bladder stones. High uric acid, on the other hand, means they are prone to bladder stones, urinary infections, and the sort. And so you really need to be careful when it comes to the food you feed them, the purines in the food, and so on, because the last thing you want to have to worry about are stones in the urethra and infections and surgeries and all sorts of things. Other common health complications for Dalmatians include, but are not limited to, hearing disorders, Approximately 50% of all Dalmatians are deaf. So generally, when they are born, they do go through some sort of hearing test. I believe it is the Bears hearing test. Although I am not an expert on that, Chief is able to hear, although he does have selective hearing, as all dogs do. Additionally, some Dalmatians will experience seizures. In fact, earlier in 2025, Chief was officially diagnosed with idiopathic epilepsy, which means he has the possibility to experience cluster seizures without any rhyme or reason. He did meet with a dog neurologist. He did meet with a dog neurologist earlier this year, had a slew of testing completed, and they were not able to pinpoint a cause. At the time, he was taking Simparica, which is a oral flea and tick preventative. We have since stopped that. One of the side effects of Simparica is the potential for seizures. So we've stopped that. We've moved on to a simple flea and tick collar, Proline or Frontline, I believe. We did try a topical cream that you put on the back, behind the shoulders, and at the base of the tail. Unfortunately, Dalmatians also experience some skin conditions periodically, rashes, hives, and so on, which is another health issue that they occasionally experience. Hair loss and things like that. So we switched to the collar, and all has been well. And then another health issue that Dalmatians tend to experience is digestive upset. They have very sensitive stomachs, digestive systems, I apologize. And through that, it can take quite a bit of trial and error to figure out what type of food sits well with their systems. I highly recommend allergy testing, food intolerance and sensitivity testing through companies like 5 Strands or through your veterinarian, just to see what works and what doesn't. We tried everything from Blue Buffalo to Hill's Science Diet, Taste of the Wild, Purina, as well as what he's now on to, which is Natural Balance, and has been going well. He's on a limited ingredient diet, and knock on wood, we have had much better results. So food for thought. We will actually put a promo code in the description for 5 Strands. TLDR, you send off a few strands of hair to their lab, they do some testing, and they tell you with some reasonable certainty exactly what types of food, byproducts, ingredients, additives, and so on your dog is sensitive to. So shout out to 5 Strands for that bit of information. And then what you can do is what we did, which is feed that report into a tool such as ChatGPT or Perplexity, who can then conduct some research for you and tell you exactly what foods and treats to purchase or avoid for your pup. So pretty cool, if I say so myself. Anyway, back to the video. So we covered the fact that Dalmatians are stubborn. We covered the fact that Dalmatians do have a host of some health concerns from time to time. One of the next things that you need to know if you're considering a Dalmatian is they do tend to have a bit of anxiety. As you can see here, we were walking down the street, and Chief tends to get a little bit of anxiety when dogs either bark at him. He's a very quiet, reserved pup. He does not enjoy being barked at. He's very reactive, so he tends to get a bit excited at times. He likes to play, but also he's like, get me out of here. So we're seeing a little bit of that live on camera right now. He also gets a little bit uncertain at times in terms of where he wants to go or when he wants to go there. He's not a big fan of car rides. He likes to whine and carry on. And this is also a good way for him to burn off some energy, if I say so myself. Um, this is one of the things you get to look forward to if you have a Dalmatian. Um, Pro tip while we're at it, invest in a hands-free leash. It is most definitely a lifesaver. You get to film some content if that's something you're into, and keep another hand free for dog deposit duty, since that is an inevitable thing while you're out for a walk as well. So yeah, thanks for sticking around at this point. Another thing, while you're considering a Dalmatian, or really any dog, as I like to tell people, is, especially with Dalmatians, make sure you have enough time for their mental and physical stimulation requirements. Dalmatians in particular kind of get a bad reputation for some destructiveness, and a lot of people ask me, are they mean? Do they get aggressive with children and other people? And of course my answer is always, no, of course not. But also, I follow that up with, well, your results may vary. You gotta make time for all of their needs. And for me, that means walking Chief anywhere between 3 and 4 miles a day, making sure you can play with them, making sure you can give them the activity they need, and really making sure that they don't get too bored, and that they have toys and other things to divert their attention to. Because the last thing you want them to do is chew on furniture or remotes or walls, heaven forbid. We've never had any issues with that, fortunately. But, and I realize that this should go without saying, but you would be surprised at how many people I see post about these things in, say, the Dalmatian Owners of America group on Facebook and subreddits and so on. So really just keep that in mind. They do require a good bit of care and attention, and it's not for the faint of heart, in all seriousness. And I think last but not least, I think they do make really good family dogs. At this time, my wife and I, we do not have kids, but as you can see, we live in a fairly suburban area. Chief often sees kids out and about when we're out for walks. He's very curious. He likes to say hi to people. He enjoys seeing kids. He's very friendly, sometimes overly friendly. And we've never had a bad experience with him. He loves snuggles. He loves being a stage 5 clinger. He's very loyal. I believe he makes a very good loyal dog. Of course, it all depends on how they're trained and what environment they're brought up in. But at the end of the day, I truly believe that Dalmatians make great companions. They are the kind of dog that smiles. I'm sure if you've been around Dalmatians in the past, you've heard or seen a Dalmatian that smiles, and sometimes it can be a bit off-putting if you're not familiar. There have been times where I've had to remind or inform people that, yes, he is smiling, and no, he's not grimacing or growling or being mean. But just smiling, just his way of saying hi. So anyway, I hope you found this video informative. I enjoyed making it. I thought it would be a nice little video to make while we're out for our morning walk. And be sure to tune in for more. We'll be doing more content like this. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them below. If there's anything else you want to see when it comes to Chief, I would love to film things like this. But until then, I wish you well, and we will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.